Hi, okay, welcome to the exam collection, which is a weekly video on grade 4 and 5 questions at the end of a foundation paper. It's always random, so you never really know what to expect. Please remember that your method may be different to mine. There is often more than one way to do maths. As long as you're backing up your answer with the evidence of how you got there, it would be absolutely fine. I use the methods that I use with my students in class and in my courses, so I will kind of stick with those. The way that this will work is you will hit pause, have a go at the questions, and press play when you're ready to see a worked solution. So let's get started. Hit pause, have a go at that question, and press play when you're ready. Okay, so I'm being asked to calculate the length of AC. If I take a look at the diagram, AC has definitely not got a number there. So that's what they want me to work out. It says, give your answer correct to 3 significant figures. So it's not giving me much, just telling me to work out a missing edge. So I need to go into that diagram a bit deeper to see what it is I'm looking at. So I'm looking at a triangle. I'm looking at a right-angled triangle, and I need to find a missing edge. So this could be Pythag, it could be trig. So I do the Pythag check first. If I need a missing edge, I need 2 of the other edges to use Pythag. I've got that one and I've got that one. So it is Pythag. Write out the formula a squared plus b squared equals c squared. Then do the color coding that we do in class. So the right angle is pointing to those 2 edges, that edge and that edge, and they correspond to those 2 letters. So I can see my AC is one of the missing numbers. So I will keep the first one as a squared. That's AC. I don't know that edge. That's what I'm trying to work out. B is 7.2 squared. Okay, so I've done the greens. I've done nothing and put my 7.2 in. 18.6 is my C squared. It's my blank. So 18.6 squared will go in there. Now it's a calculator paper. All the questions today are calculator papers. So I can put this information in. That's going to give me a squared plus 51.84 equaling 345.96. And now this is just an equation that needs solving. If I want to know what A equals, I'm going to get it on its own. So I'm going to move this first of all. It's a positive number. It's going to land as a negative number. That's going to leave my a squared because that has now gone, which is great because it means that I'm getting closer to getting a on its own. So I've now got the result of my takeaway as that. Now to get a on its own, I'm going to have to pick up that square. It's going to land as its opposite, which is root, and a is now equal to 17.1499, on and on it goes. Go back to the question. What do they want? They want 3 significant figures. So 1, 2, 3, cut. Box off that one. If it's 5 or more, you'll have to add 1. It is not. So my final answer is going to be 17.1 centimeters. Well done if you got that right. Okay, next question. Read through carefully and press play when you're ready. Okay, now I see a lot of students do a lot of trial and error. Just try a number. If it works, gets you close, do something, adjust it, try again. But the expectation of the GCSE is that you are applying your algebra to this type of question. Algebra, a letter is a variable. It is something that describes a number that I just don't know yet. And when I read this story, there are numbers that I just don't know yet. So that's how I recognize the need for algebra in the question. So Chris has 2 children, Beth and Amy, and Beth is 10 years older than Amy. Well, I don't know what Amy is. And unless I know what Amy is, I can't possibly know what Beth is because I've got nothing to add my 10 to. And that's the trigger. That's that I don't know the number. So it's got to be a letter. Amy is a number I don't know. Let's call her X. Beth is 10 years older. So Beth is going to be X plus 10. That would be hers. Chris says, I'm twice as old as the sum of Beth and Amy. So the sum of Beth and Amy is these two added together. So if I add these together, I've got 2x plus 10. That's the sum of their ages. Chris is 40, but Chris is twice as old as them. So it might make sense at this stage to go, well, I don't want twice the age, so I'll divide it by 2, which will give me 20. And then that gives me the equation. The sum is equal to 20. Half of Chris's age. Now, if I want to know what x equals, I've got to get it on its own. So we're going to hit the plus 2 is going to land as minus 10. Sorry, going to do the plus 10. It's going to land as minus 10. So that's gone, leaving me 2x equaling 10. I need to divide through by the 2 because it's a times on that side, and x will equal 5. So what they want me to do, how old is Amy? Amy is X and X is 5. So Amy is 5 years old. Now, if you did get there without any use of algebra, you will be picking up marks. You just won't get them all. They have an expectation that when there's a number you don't know, you are assigning a letter to that number, okay? And that is grade 4, grade 5 thinking. If you don't, and you can't remember that in the exam, then you're going to do what you did because you're never going to leave it blank. All right. Okay, next question. Let's make this a little bit smaller. So again, you've got your calculator, read through the question, and when you're ready to see the solution, hit play. Okay. So there's lots of combinations that I could make the 750 gram total from. But before I start thinking about that, I need to be thinking about which one is the best value for money. If I just assume that it's the bigger can, I could be going down the wrong road. So the first thing that I really want to do is to start making some comparisons. Now, if I take the smaller can here, okay, there's 150 grams. If I look at the bigger one here, there's 300. Well, that's twice as much. So if 150 grams is 35 pence, this is obviously, I'm looking at my small tin at the moment, then 300 grams, which would mean me buying 2 cans, is going to be 70 pence. If I compare that to the large, their 300 grams is 80 pence. It's absolutely not better value for money for me to be going and buying the large tins. So there is enough there for me to now eliminate the large. I'm not going to be purchasing any of those because 2 smaller ones is cheaper anyway. So now I need to do a similar sort of thing with my small and my medium. Again, I need to work out which one is better value. If the 200 grams is, then obviously I'm going to be using some of those tins. Now, the way that I'm going to do this is I'm going to use my boxes and labels so that I can get them into something that's similar. I could go all the way down to 1 gram, but I think because these are in multiples of 50, it makes a lot more sense to do that. So with the small tin, I'm going to put my fact that 150 grams is 35 pence. If I work out what 50 grams are, that would mean that I have something a little easier to compare. I could go to 100 grams, I could go to 1 gram, I really could do anything. I'm just choosing, for whatever reason in my head, I decided I was going to go to 50. And I'm going to do the exact same thing with my medium tin as well. So my fact is that 200 grams is 45 pence. Okay. And I'm going to work out what 50 is, because then I can compare these two, which is really what I want to do. So the trap number is 150. So that's the maths that I've got to do. I'll put that into my calculator and I get 7. So I know that 50 grams is 7 pence. I'm going to do the same over here. 200 is my trap number. Times that through by 45. And I work out that it is 11 pence and a little bit for 50 grams. So actually from that piece of maths, I can now deduce that the small tin of beans is just absolutely the best value. And really, I just want to buy 750 grams worth of beans in small tins. So I'm going to take the 750 that I need, divide it by the 150 in each can. That tells me that I'm going to need 5 cans. 5 times 35 pence is 175, or £1.75 in total. So don't be misled by these types of questions. Sometimes we just automatically think buying in bulk is better value, so I'll get as many of the big ones before I go to the small. You really want to be checking in and making some proper comparisons with these types of questions. Okay, next one. Again, take your time, get that information together, have a go and press play when you're ready. Okay, so this is another big question. So there's been a couple on this particular video. Remember, we don't like sentences in maths. If I can write things in kind of maths code and symbols, etc., I might get a better feel for what's going on here. So they want me to work out the cost of an apple and a banana, and they've given me some clues, if you like, to solving this. If I just reduce this down into math speak, 4 apples would probably be 4A. And 3 bananas would probably be 3B. And 4 apples plus 3 bananas gives me a total of £2.50. Okay, so that's a coded version of that sentence. And if I repeat that, then I get this. And this is simultaneous equations. It's a very sneaky simultaneous equation because it's been given to us as a story rather than just as a X or Y piece of maths. So we're going to have to go now through the process of our method for simultaneous equations. The first thing that we really want to do is get these first terms matching. I want the numerical value here to be the same. So I'm going to cross multiply. I'm going to times the top by 3, and I'm going to times the bottom by 4. And when I do that multiplication, I need to do that on every single term. So the top one, which I'm timesing by 3, will come out as 12A plus 9B equaling £7.50. And if you're not showing the 0, you don't need to. Okay, so everything got multiplied by the 3. Now I'm multiplying the bottom by 4, which is going to give me 12A plus 16B equaling £9.60. I then take away, all right, so that I can eliminate the A's. To get rid of the A's, it means I can just concentrate on the B's. 12 A's, take away 12 A's, I have no A's, they've gone. 9B, take away 16B is giving me minus 7B. Do not fear the negatives. You've got a calculator to help you anyway. £7.50 take £9.60 is going to give me minus 2.1 or 10, depending on how you're looking at this. Now, if I want to know what B equals, I've got to get it on its own. So I'm going to pick up that times -7. It's going to land as divide by -7. Again, you can just put this into your calculator and you will work out that B is equal to 0.3 or 30p, depending on how you want to represent that. Okay. Now I know what the bananas cost individually, I can start working out the apples. So I just need to select one of the original equations that I wrote here, just because the numbers are smaller. I could use one of these, but it makes sense to use one of these. I'm going to just use the top one because there's not a lot of difference in them. So I've got 4A plus 3Bs equaling £2.50. So my apples, I still don't know, but I know my bananas are 30 pence each. And 30 pence times by 3 is 90 pence. But I got pounds, so I need to really keep it as pounds. So we're going to call that 0.9. Now, if I want to know what A equals, I get it on its own. Nothing changes here. So I'm going to take off the 90 pence. I've got 4A now equaling £1.60, divide through by the 4, and my apples are equal to 40 pence. And I have the two answers that they wanted. So and again, another sneaky question where they're hiding the method that is simultaneous equations. Okay, so well done if you did good on that. Okay, our next question is here. Now there's quite a lot of parts to this. It goes a long old way down. So let's just get it so we can see everything. There you go. I want you to hit pause and press play when you're ready. Okay, so they're not, again, giving too much away here. They are telling us that we've got a set of numbers, a group from the set. The A group are even numbers and the B group are multiples of 3. You're being asked to list the members of the B group. Well, the B group are multiples of 3 that come from this set. So that's fairly straightforward. 3, 6, and 9. We've then got to find the numbers again. So it's not mentioning probability at all, which is where your brain might be wanting to go, because we see this linked to probability all the time. But it's not asking about probability. It just says find these numbers. This symbol here should hopefully trigger a Venn diagram. Now you can manage this question without the Venn diagram, but I actually think it's much easier to just draw the Venn diagram so that you can get all your answers really easily from it. So at this stage, I am going to draw my two circles. So I've got a circle for A and I've got a circle for B. A is the even numbers, so 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and multiples of 3, 6, 9. The common one is 6, which will go in the middle, and then these are going to go on the outside. And then the numbers that are still within this set that I haven't used at all would go on the outside. So 1, 5, and 7. And then this whole thing goes in a box. Really important that my workings out here are nothing to do with the box. I'm drawing that because it's going to help me answer my questions, okay? Transferring the detail in puts me into something that I'm familiar with and I'm not scrabbling around trying to find the information. So now, A and that U shape of the symbol triggers united. So A and B united is all of these numbers here. So we would be listing out all of those. So 2, 4, 8, 10, 6, 3, 9. You can put them in order You can put them in the way that you read them. It's 1 mark. It's right or wrong, and that is right, okay? It then says that X is a member of the set, okay? So I know that my X, whatever it is, it has to be one of these numbers, okay? It says that X is in B, but not in A. Can you see? I'll zoom into this now so that you can see the symbols a little bit better, but I still want my venn. There we go. So my subset or my group B, it can be a member of, but because that's got a little line through it, it means it cannot be in that subset. So it's not in A. So it's in B, but not in A. So when I look at this, those 2 numbers are in B, that is in A, which I can't include. So my answer is 3 and 9. So the possible values are 3 and 9. I think I skipped a question, which was a bit silly. C, okay. So we'll go and do it. This means, for me, it triggers the word and. That's the letter N in the word and. And is the crossing section of the 2 circles. So the number that is in A and B is this number here, which is 6. Sorry for jumping around there, not very good. So my advice is go with what you know. If you're looking at a question like this, you know that the data they give you will go into a Venn diagram. Draw it, and then you can use your Venn diagram to answer all your questions. Okay, here's your next question. Hit pause and press play when you're ready. Okay, so this is a percentage question. So it's getting a tick. If it gets the 2 tick test, it's going to be the formula. So he is getting a discount. So there it is. There's the second tick. He's getting a decrease. So 2 tick question means it's original times multiplier equals result. My job is to work that multiplier out. So the multiplier is always 100%. Take away, because it's a decrease, 25%, which is going to give me 75%. I want to work in the decimal version, so dividing through is going to give me 0.75. So let's read this question in its entirety. So he saw the car, he got a discount of 25% off the price of the car. He paid 7,200. Work out the price of the car before the discount. So the original, I do not know. That's what I'm being asked to work out. But I know the original was multiplied by 0.75 in order to get the result of 7,200. You then divide through by your 0.75, and the calculator tells you it was 9,600. And that is your result. Now, for this kind of question, boxes and labels could work. We teach the original times multiply equals result because it works. It's foolproof. Whereas if you start thinking, oh, boxes and labels for percentages, it's only going to work in a couple of places and then it breaks down. This doesn't break down. So it is this sort of superior formula, efficient method, however you want to think about it. But you can do your boxes and labels, and I'll just remind you very quickly of how that would look. If you're reading the story, 25% was taken off, which means our price of 7,200 is 75% of the original value. Okay. I want to know 100%. So that's my trapped number. Do that into the calculator and it's going to get you the same answer. So it could be one that feels a little bit easier, but the warning is please don't think it's going to work all over the place with your percentages. Okay, original times multiplier is really the way to go. Okay, do we have any more? No, that is it. All right, so hopefully you are finding this regular check-in with exam questions useful. The best way to get a grade 4 or 5 is to practice exam questions. So doing this every single week is going to make a difference. So well done for joining me on this one. Hopefully I'll see you for the next one.